A lot of people told me to lower my expectations for Stormblood's story, and I'm still disappointed. This expansion has some issues and I want to talk about them. This whole video of my complaints is based off of what I've experienced so far in the 4.0 patch, and there's nothing from 4.1 or beyond, just to give you an idea of where I'm coming from. But the issues are so obvious, I have to take a break from playing the game to talk about them. Starting with Lyse's character development, or rather the lack of it. Lyse by the end of 4.0 is the commander of the Alamegan resistance, but throughout Kugane, Doma, and other locales, she never shows any traits that would make us as the player assume that she would be a great commander. Other than the talk that she has with Lord Hien while they're imprisoned by the Orin, and the fact that she cares about freeing Alamigo, she doesn't change at all. If anything, she loses some of her personality in the process of her developing as a character. Whereas someone like Alphanode, who has had his own character arc within Heavensward, he stays true to himself after learning humility and to not take shortcuts after the failure of the Crystal Braves. Then he gains the understanding of how strong personal bonds can be after going on a journey where he interacts with Estinian, Lady Iceheart, Tataru, Sir Emmerich, and the Warrior of Light, making him a better version of himself that everyone values. As opposed to Lyse, when we come back to Alamigo, Conrad tells the Warrior of Light that he wants to make her the new commander of the resistance, essentially making her the leader of the Alamegans for a short period of time, most likely giving her a role like Sir Emmerich has within Ishgard. If the dev team had just added a scene or two of Lyse talking more with Lord Hien, learning what it means to be a leader, or a scene of her commanding people within the Nadam, or settling a dispute with comrades within the resistance, would have done so much for her character, but unfortunately they didn't. So moving on to my next point, too many things happen within 4.0. We start by helping the Alamegan resistance, but then we leave for Kugane to free Doma from Garlean control to fight on two fronts, and I'll be getting back to that plot point very soon. But continuing on, then our team makes their way towards the Ruby Sea, but then they have to free the Ruby Sea from Garlean control as well to even get into Doma. Then after we finally get to Doma, we have to participate in Nadam, a competition to see which clan rules the steep, so Lord Hien can have an army in order to help him take back Doma. Then we finally do take back Doma, then we make our way back to Girabania to take back Alamigo at last, which ends with us having a boss fight with Shinryu. All of this happens within 122 quests, and I know for some people who haven't played this game it sounds ridiculous that all of this is too much for that amount of quest, but believe me, it is. Also, for every high point within the story like taking back Doma or encountering Xenos, there's about 10 quests separating those great moments. Honestly, Stormblood suffers from trying to do too much with not enough time, and while Doma and Alamigo's arcs have great moments on their own, they never get to expand upon these moments because both of their respective storylines have a deadline. Therefore, it leaves both storylines to feel like they're lacking. But my rant is coming to an end with this last point, and please feel free to correct me on this point if you feel like I'm wrong. The entire point of taking back Doma was to fight Garlemald on two separate fronts, which made me assume that we were going to be going back and forth between the two nations, therefore splitting Xeno's attention, giving us opportunities to push in on his territories in both nations. But instead we free Doma first, and then we come back to the resistance that has made no progress while we've been gone. But now Xenos and his forces can focus just on defending Alamigo and Girabania. But from a logistical standpoint, freeing Doma so soon not only made things harder than they were before, but also we barely get any support from them when we do take Alamigo back. So consequently that means we never fight Garlemald on two fronts, and our characters in turn make things harder for themselves near the end of the 4.0 story. And the only reason why their siege is successful is because Xenos and his lackeys admit that Xenos just wanted to fight the Warrior of Light, which in my opinion is just a giant slap in the face to not only the characters within this story but to everybody playing this story. That the big climactic finish of this story really only happened because of, oh, the main villain wanted to fight the main character once again. But even though I was dissatisfied with the story overall, under understand that there were plenty of things that I liked about Stormblood, and if you want to be ready to see that video or my video on Shadowbringers and other games coming in the future, subscribe with notifications turned on. But with that being said, it's been Skipx and I'm out.